But see, here we see that Jesus, who several Credo classes ago, we looked at him as the creator, the sustainer of all things, entering in and then having to learn the alphabet. He's called the Alpha and the Omega, and he learned the alphabet. He is, the substance of Scripture, and he had to memorize verses. It's really humbling, really incredible, and again, you wouldn't make this up. So there's that human mind. He experienced the full spectrum of human emotions. That's them, all three human emotions. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of verses up there. I'm just going to quote a bunch of verses at you. We read of him marveling at the faith of a centurion. We read of him weeping outside the grave of Lazarus. We see him angry at the temple, at those that were selling in the temple, and also those that are using a crippled man to make a point. We read about his soul being troubled, knowing that the hour of his death was imminent. He says later on that his soul is very sorrowful. We read about him crying with loud cries and tears. And then the people that were nearby Jesus, that spent the most time with him growing up, well, we know that shockingly, they didn't believe in him. In Matthew chapter 13, there's a lengthy section that I'll read. It says, when Jesus finished these parables, he went away from there and came to his hometown, and he taught them in their synagogue. So they were astonished, and they said, where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? Are not his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? Are not all of his sisters with us as well? Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. And then Jesus said, a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and in his own household. And he did not do many mighty works there because of their unbelief. It's Matthew 13:53 and following. So Jesus was so human that people that lived next to him for about 30 years, give or take, when he came back, they were surprised, offended, shocked, and they didn't believe in him because he just seemed like a really good guy. Like a really good guy, but a really good guy. And they just could not believe that he was anything more than that because he didn't glow in the dark, he didn't have a halo, he didn't float around, he was a guy. And because of that, because he wasn't something super special growing up and living in Capernaum, that's one of the reasons why the people that he grew up with didn't believe in him. So in a lot of ways, his life is similar to ours. But in a lot of ways, his life is very different than ours. So it's similar in that he truly is a human, like us. But it's different in the way that he entered into the world. We talked about that, this virgin conception. And then also the fact that he is sinless and we are not. So the similarities end. Now let's talk about his sinlessness. Any comments, I guess, on the previous stuff? The self-limiting, the emotions, the knowledge?